Recruiting time with Otis Kirk, as always, our recruiting insider from Hogville.net. Otis, let's begin with this commitment from Landon Rogers, a quarterback from Little Rock Parkview. It took place this past week, and this guy really brings a lot of upside. He really spoke a lot about how he's really into the University of Arkansas, but particularly for what the college is about and what the coaches do for their student athletes in terms of building the relationship, right?
Yeah, this kid's a guy that, when people look at him, they may think, well, why did Arkansas take him when they're on some higher rated quarterback? Listen, this kid's got all kinds of upside. He's got huge upside potential. He's 6'5", 215. He can run. He's extremely fast. He can run really well. Got a strong arm. He can make all the throws. Here's what's held Landon back. He's Jason, Drew, he's not as consistent as you would want right now. I mean, he'll look like Peyton Manning one play and then me the next play. No, I mean, he's just, Drew, he just lacks consistency right now. But I'll say this. He's got all kinds of upside. He can run the ball. He rushed for 584 yards and 10 touchdowns last year. He was 99 of 182 passes, 1,661 yards, 19 touchdowns, and only 2 interceptions. But they only went 4-6 last year, but they didn't have Joyner. But in the games they lost, 4 of them were extremely close. Schools like Whitehall, Maumelle, and stuff. The only 2 games they got blown out were by Little Rock Christian and Pulaski Academy. But their offense was pretty productive in all those games. It was more or less the defense was having trouble stopping people was the problem. But Landon's, as you said, he's into the. I met him when he came up to the junior day here. He's into a lot of things. It's just he made the decision based on more than just simply football, but Arkansas had everything he wanted to offer in football, that he wants and much more. So yeah, he's a very intelligent kid, and I think it was a good pickup because you signed kid. You've got so many quarterbacks. You keep signing kids that are ready to play immediately and this and that, and they don't stay. They leave. You've got to get some guys that you can develop. And Landon's the type kid that all he needs is consistency because he can make any throw that any quarterback that they're recruiting can make.
Logan Diggs is a running back they're looking at, and when you look at Logan, he's got Arkansas in his top 10, but he's from that area in Louisiana where I know Arkansas has targeted very much so in the past. Just a wealth of talent in that state in general, but what about Logan?
Well, he's from Metairie, Archbishop Rummel, and as you said, Arkansas done well down there. He's the number 1 running back in Louisiana. He's got Arkansas up there. He's 2021. He's just a kid that can really fly. He's got Southern Cal, Arizona State, Arkansas, Nebraska, Michigan State, Vanderbilt, Louisville, Oklahoma State, Ole Miss. He's got all kinds of schools. If you notice there when I was naming those schools, he's got them from Big 12, SEC, Pac-12. He's got Big 10. He's got schools from all over the country, ACC, that's recruiting him. He's got probably about 24 or 25 offers, but that's his top 10. And he's narrowed it down. So he's not locked into necessarily staying close to home because he's got schools from all over the country and basically every major conference, all the Power 5 conferences recruiting him in his final 10. He can run really well. He had 924 yards rushing and 5 touchdowns last year, but he also catches the ball well. 26 receptions last year, 4 touchdowns that way. He's just a good ball player. He's a solid running back. Arkansas is going to need one. They've got Devwell Whaley and T.J. Hammonds are seniors this year. So I need to find some running backs in this class. They only signed 1 last year, so it's a must that they sign a couple of 3 running backs in this class. I know Sam said last year he likes to sign 2 in each class if he can. That's his goal, to sign 2.
Kiwane Parker is a defensive back. Now, is this guy strictly a cornerback? What are we looking at here? And I know now in his recruitment, he's got Arkansas in his top 6.
Yeah, he is. He's not. He lacks the size to play safety, but he's a very good cover corner. I tell you, he kind of reminds me of a kid they signed out of Tulsa a few years ago named Jared Collins. He came over here. I think Keon's a little bit better ball player than at the same stage of their career. as Jared was, but Jared was very productive. But he's not very big. He's kind of like Jared was in that sense. He's probably 5'10", maybe 160, 170. But yeah, Arkansas made the cut. Along with Kansas, Nebraska, Baylor, Michigan State, and SMU. One thing kind of catches your eye with that top six, though. He's from there's no Oklahoma schools on there, Drew. He's probably going out of state. But Arkansas is extremely close to Tulsa, and they've had some success with Tulsa Booker T kids. Felix Jones is one, and there's been others. But, I mean, Felix Jones had a ton of success at Arkansas. And hopefully, he was at a junior day over here, came over and saw the Razorbacks at a junior day and had a good visit. And I think they're in decent shape there. But, yeah, he's just a player that he's ready to plug in right now and play some in that secondary. He's that good.
Okay, Jaylyn Williams out of Jones, 6'3", about 310, and this is somebody who picked up an offer. Kind of take me back through the timeline. I believe it was March 2nd, but kind of take me through the timeline since then and kind of where Arkansas is in terms of recruiting this guy.
Yeah, he's one of the JUCO defensive tackles. They're on three of those kids, hoping to get at least one of them and bring him in. And Jaylyn he's from Tylertown, Mississippi originally. He's at Jones County Community College. He's somebody that had a good season last year. He's actually eligible. He could come out right now, but Arkansas doesn't have any scholarships. And of course, the COVID-19 has kind of knocked out visits for these kids. But he's a player that's definitely going to go somewhere. If he stays there and plays another year at Jones County, he'll have 3 years to play two at the next level, and he's someone you could plug in. You got Xavier Kelly, Jonathan Marshall, some guys that are older, seniors, is scheduled to kind of play inside at Arkansas this year. He could come right in where those two leave, come in and give them a chance to play. That's what they're looking for in these JUCO defensive tackles, somebody that can come in and give them some instant help there.
Yeah, speaking of, let's stay up front. Isaiah Coe, Iowa Western. We know Iowa Western very well in these parts, given how Arkansas has recruited there in the past. But what's the update there? I know we touched on him this past week. I believe it was this past week and maybe the week prior, but what's the update on him?
Yeah, I think it was a couple of weeks ago because I talked to him, and, he's a kid that Arkansas was the first Power 5 offer for him. He had quite a few offers, but they were the first Power 5, and then after they offered him, OU, Missouri, South Carolina, and Syracuse and some other schools came in, Power 5 schools, and offered him. But, yeah, he's pretty much the same thing, 6'3", 310, similar to what Williams is in that regard. But, he's somebody that Arkansas would love to sign. I mean, and he told me since they were the first Power 5 school to offer him, he was going to visit them when all these recruiting restrictions were lifted and stuff. But that would be a great get for Arkansas. I mean, he can come in and play just like I just talked about with Williams, come in and give them somebody instantly to replace Kelly and Marshall inside on that defensive line. They're going to need some interior defensive linemen, and an older one would be nice, and that's what they're trying to get. He signed Coates last year for the end position. Now they're trying to find a defensive tackle for the interior position.
Yeah, and DAmico Rowland is one of those guys, a D tackle.
Another one.
And familiarity is the first thing that jumps off the page, given that Ryan Rose, linebackers coach for Arkansas, used to be the head coach at Hutchinson Community College. So let's start there.
Yeah, and he's from Broken Arrow, so he knows Miles Slusher. He's from this area, and he, as you said, he signed with Coach Rhodes up at Hutchinson Community College last year. Played some. He didn't play as much as these other two guys that we talked about, these other two defensive tackles. But, he's about 6'3", 300, a little bit smaller maybe than Coe and Williams, maybe, or actually probably about 305 pounds. So, I mean, it's, 5 pounds one way or the other. Yeah. He can go eat with me for a day or two, and he'll be up to that 310. He won't have any issues getting to that 310 then. But no, he just didn't play as much as those other guys because Hutchinson was loaded last year, and so he doesn't have as many. He's got North Texas, Syracuse, and Arkansas and stuff, but he'll get a lot more offers. He's going to play a lot this year, but he's from Broken Arrow, which is a great program in Oklahoma. We've seen so many kids come out. I mean, Alvin Bailey, Miles Slusher. There's been others come out of Broken Arrow. Chris Wade. There's been a lot of Razorbacks that played their high school football at Broken Arrow. Rick Jones, he coached at Greenwood Salon, was from there originally, coached there some, and that's the first time I ever met Rick. He was the head coach at Broken Arrow, coaching Chris Wade. So yeah, that school really turns out a lot. They turn out prospects every year. Not all of them come to Arkansas, obviously, but they go to OU and other places. But yeah, DAmico Rowland, someone to keep your eye on, and there's a lot of familiarity there. As you said, Coach Rhodes knows him well. He knows the inside and outs of Rowland and his family and stuff because he recruited the kid.
All right, Otis Kirk, recruiting insider for Big Trail Nation. And Otis, I want to give you some props. Nice story in terms of the praise given to Sam Pittman from Kendall Browse and Barry Odom. You can check that out on hogville.net. As always, we'll visit with you again next week. Otis, thanks very much, man.
Okay, thanks.